guys, I hope you're having a great day. Today we're going to be talking about composting. So yesterday my husband did weed eating in my my garden and also mowed the lawn. So there's a lot of grass clippings and he left the garden a mess. And then I'm a clean freak, so I'm in here raking and sweeping up the garden. So let me show you what I'm up to today. All right, so I already cleaned this area up. Put it in the compost, but let's look over here. I purposely want to have grass in some areas so I could have grass clippings for my garden. So I'll be raking up all of this. I already started right here, kind of sweeping off this weed blocker. But there's a whole lot of grass to be raked today, so I'll be working on that today. And let me just show you my compost. With the compost, there's a couple of different methods that I'm using. One of the methods that I'm using is compost tea. So what I normally do is I have this container. I put a spout at the bottom of it, but I really need to add cinder blocks underneath it so that I can be able to get the compost very easily. Now, one of the things I normally do is I use like clippings from some of my vegetables, and I'll put it into the rainwater that's in there, and just let it kind of decompose. Now, if you don't stir it, if you're not doing some kind of aeration with it every day, it will smell. But if you do it right, like you see here, I'm always stirring to try to add some oxygen to it, because you don't want it to smell like the rotten eggs, because it can then probably harm your plants and even have an E. coli type of issue. So before I actually give it to my plants, I normally add a little bit more water to it to dilute it, and then I'll just add it to my plants. Over here is the other compost. This is where, matter of fact, let me just kind of roll it a little bit before I open it up. Whoa! Okay, and it's actually probably ready to be harvested. Now, some things that I'm learning of, it said it's okay to put it in there, but I don't like it, okay? And one of those things is, oh goodness, is I have a lot of pine straw. You see all these pine trees? I have pine trees everywhere. Everywhere there's a pine tree, okay? So they're automatically falling in the garden and just everywhere. So because there was a lot that we put around our trees, I had some where I raked up and I put it into the compost. I don't know if that was a good idea or not, because what I'm finding is that it takes longer for that to break down. So let me just let you see what I'm working with. Let's see if we can look in there. It's kind of dark. Let's see if I can take this side off. It's actually ready, with the exception of the pine straw. Okay. Let's see if we can look in there. There we go. Okay. So you can see how it's dark. The only thing that didn't break down as much as the pine straw, but I could actually use this because it had lettuce, it had all kind of greens in here, but those greens are gone. So this is what the compost looks like. So I'll probably go ahead and just kind of spread that out a little bit, and probably put it in the base of one of my garden beds, because I am planning to start a new one. So this will be a good compost to add to the bottom of that. So I'm just going to leave that open and let it air out just a little bit. Now, I have had issues where, do I have earthworms in there? No, I didn't put it in there. Now, the first one I did, they volunteered, I guess, because I had put soil in the first one. But for this one, I just put just the ingredients without any of the earthworms. But I did have those flies. What do you call those? Army flies or whatever those, I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, so it had those little maggots in there. But I've been told that that's still good if it comes in the compost. And I have had it, but I don't see it in here now. But that means it was a good thing, because they still help to break down all the lettuce. I've had cucumbers in there, some squash, the leftover stuff, scraps, like when I, cut up different things. So you can see this looks better. Okay, so you can see what the compost looks like inside. Now, I sort of don't like I don't like this bin because I just want one big open thing. You see this opening is kind of small. I have to kind of cram stuff in here. And this thing was crammed actually, but you can see how it's broken down. Look how much space I got in the back of it. So this is good old compost. Like I said, the only part that's taking a while to break down is that darn pine straw. So I probably won't use that again. Matter of fact, I know I'm not going to use it. All right. So another compost that I have is, I have three different systems, like I said, because this one, this one is not big enough. So I had to go to this one. Then that wasn't big enough because of the number of trimmings that I'm doing in the garden. You know, when I'm cutting back on, like if it's leaves from my cucumbers or, like I say, tomato plants, because I'm always pruning that. I need a place to put it. I'm not just going to throw it away. That's good compost. So I had to then graduate and add this one. So another thing, here's another one that's ready. But again, it has the, and it had, you see I still had a little bit of corn in there, but and the little eggshells. But this is pretty much broken down. There's not even any more worms in this one because it's actually ready to use. It doesn't smell, that like egg smell. No, it doesn't smell like this. And this thing was filled to the top, okay, to the very top. And so this is broken down. You can see how this is what I have left. So I'll be actually using this one and also using the one that's in this one, okay? Now, here's the one that I'm starting. So you can see I've already started putting grass leaves in here. At the bottom of it is like the corn that I chopped it up very fine. So it's at the very bottom of that. I just poured the chicken scraps in here today. And I probably should have chopped up some of this cucumbers, but I can still go back and do that. What I do is I normally chop it up in the kitchen, but I didn't have time because I was too busy doing a whole lot of stuff. So what I'll do is I have my clippers that I'll come in and just kind of chop it up. So it just makes it break down faster. So remember, when you're doing composting, some of the things you want to start with is you want to have your browns and your greens. So your greens are like, the grass clippings that I'll be actually raking up, and putting in here. Grass clippings, you can put brown paper bag, kitchen, brown paper bag, that's the browns. But the greens are the grass clippings and your garden waste, okay? Then you layer that. So now that I have that on top, then what I'll need to do is go out there, and I do have some trees in the back that have leaves. So you can see I do have some trees that are not pine trees. Okay, so I'll be grabbing some of the leaves from that, and that's the brown. So leaves could be browns. It could be, the browns could be the leaves and the cardboard box. Of course, you got to break it down. Paper bags. Let's see, what are some other things? But anyway, you guys get the idea. Browns and greens. So I normally layer them on top of each other, so that way you don't have too much of the greens, which makes it very wet. Or too much of the brown, which makes it dry. But it should not smell like rotten eggs, and this does not. It actually smells very earthy. When I first started compost, it would smell like the rotten eggs, and that's because I realized I had too many of the greens, but not enough of the browns. So I've gotten a good idea of what to do now. So some of the benefits of composting is that it has good nutrients. Our plants need phosphate, potassium, and nitrogen. So those are the three things that your plants need, whether it's your vegetables or even your fruit, and even flowers. Those are the things that it needs. And so when you're composting and it breaks down, that's what you're actually giving your plants. It's like a liquid fertilizer. Or if I'm using the actual soil, then it's still good compost to add to your gardens. I would say that with a compost tea, sometimes I'll, like I said, take it in a bucket and I'll pour it at the root. But sometimes I'll put it in a sprayer. So I have a sprayer over here that I normally, as a matter of fact, let me kind of walk over here. The sun is very bright. All right, so here's my sprayer. I have used this, and you can also, again, my little sprayer. It has like this little nozzle on the end. Okay, so with this sprayer, what I do is put the compost in there, and I'll pour it in there, and just go and spray the leaves because it actually nourishes the leaves. I didn't know that at first. Let me take this gum out. Didn't know that at first, but that's some of the benefits of using the liquid compost, or some people call it compost tea, but it's liquid fertilizer. So that's what I would be doing. And so let me just show you the results of some of the plants. So of course, here are my bell pepper plants. Let me turn around so the sun is not too bright. So here are the bell pepper plants. So these are the bell pepper plants that actually love the compost tea. Now, look at these hot peppers. I mean, let me see if I can get close, because it's like, they are everywhere. Before, it was this little thing that just stayed small for maybe about a month. When I started adding that compost tea, it's like I start seeing so many of these peppers on here, and I've harvested them, but I mean, look, and this is 2 plants, okay? But you can see how much is on each one of them. So there's a lot of harvesting. So of course, some of the red ones, it's time for me to bring those in. But these are some other bell peppers. I also have this purple bell pepper, okay? Now, I'm new to this one. I have to research whether or not this one is ready to harvest or not, because here's a picture of what it's supposed to look like. And actually, they don't look very big, so I think they are ready. So normally what I do is tug at it, and if they break off easy and I know it's ready, if they take a little longer, then I'll just leave it on a little while longer. Let me see. Here's some other stuff. This is my Swiss chard. Now, this is where the worms ate it, and I just chopped it all back. And so I love that Swiss chard is resilient. And so look how it's grown back. And now I still had something that was eating it, at least one leaf. I don't know exactly what that is, but it's always something. Those aphids are out again, but I don't know if that's what did it. But that's one leaf that bit the dust, but the rest of them look really good. I did not put it on. I haven't tried it on the eggplants yet, but I plan on doing that. I just been putting regular fertilizer on that one. I think I put the 10-10-10 fertilizer on the it's a plant tone, I think it's called, that I put on there, because this is a Japanese eggplant. My first time growing it, and so I am excited. Now, I do plan on putting some compost tea on. I have some other eggplants too. Let me show you what that looks like. So this is my radishes, which are growing very nicely. I even got some bell peppers in the back where I grew from seeds. But anyway, this is the eggplants. I had to go ahead and separate them out. I've seen pictures, and man, they are going to get big, tall, almost like maybe the bell peppers, and they complement each other very well. I just have them in a different bin, but I don't have them in the same bin, and that's more of the Swiss chard. So I guess you can tell I like Swiss chard. All right, I'll have to show you guys the recipe that I normally do for that, but Swiss chard, I normally do a lot of stir fry with that. It's very good to do that. And I used to put it in smoothies, but I had the red stem Swiss chard, but I haven't been able to find that. But anyway, let me stay where I'm planted. And that is looking at the eggplant. And so I just put regular fertilizer in on these. But I do, once I get more of the compost, I might dress around the base of the plant and put some of that, the soil compost. But mostly I will just be adding just the compost tea, because it loves it. I used to wonder, how is that? You put it in the soil and it goes to the bottom. How does the plant get a chance to use it? Well, of course, there's the roots down there. So it's the roots are eating, actually absorbing the liquid. So that's the benefits of using compost tea. These are the okay, guys, that's it for today. Remember to be healthy, be well, drink lots of water, and make sure you add some movement to your day. Don't just sit at home and or at work and be a couch potato or a desk potato. Make sure you're getting out and try to walk around, your office, etc. Get those steps in. Okay, this is Coach Denise with Prolific Gardening. Have an amazing day. Bye. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. If you found this helpful or entertaining, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you want to see more content like this, turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Got questions or thoughts? Drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
MyLifeHealthy.com with Coach Denise.